Now, Buzz Aldrin fell in love with airplanes and flight and the moon when he was just a boy growing up in Montclair, New Jersey.
At 94, Buzz Aldrin is finally spilling secrets about the moon that will shock everyone. Born in New Jersey to a family with a military pilot father, Buzz was always fascinated by flying and space.
Everything looked normal when we separated, little communications problems with Earth, but then when we got to the point of lighting the engine for powered descent.
He shone at school and later at MIT, where he focused on how to use engineering in space missions. What dark secrets has Buzz been hiding all these years? Let us dive into the mysteries that have lingered in the moon's shadow for too long. Buzz Aldrin's early years. At 94 years old, Buzz Aldrin, the famous astronaut who took those historic steps on the moon right after Neil Armstrong, has decided to share some of the secrets he has kept for years. What could he possibly reveal after all this time? Were those quiet whispers and rumors we've heard all these years actually true? His surprising announcement might just change how we see history. As the cameras rolled and the world watched, Buzz Aldrin cleared his throat, his eyes hinting at the gravity of his next words.
I saw this illumination that was moving with respect to the stars. We were smart enough to not say, Houston, there's a light out there that's following us. So technically, it becomes an unidentified flying object.
He was born on January 20th, 1930, with the full name Edwin Eugene Aldrin, Jr. Growing up in Montclair, New Jersey, in a family that valued hard work and big dreams, he was inspired by his father, Edwin Eugene Aldrin, Sr., who was a pilot and a retired colonel in the U.S. Air Force. This background had a strong impact on him from a young age, fueling his interest in aviation and space, especially as aircraft technology was advancing quickly in the 1930s. He started his education at Montclair High School, where he excelled in his studies and showed early signs of being a leader. These qualities and interests led him to the Massachusetts Institute of Technology, where he decided to study mechanical engineering. At MIT, he focused on the new and exciting field of astronautics. He completed his degree by concentrating on how engineering could be used in space missions. He didn't stop there. He went on to earn a master's degree in aeronautics and astronautics, writing his thesis on how to guide spacecraft. This academic work laid the foundation for his future contributions to space technology. His education wasn't just for his own growth. It was also preparing him for the big achievements he would later have as an astronaut. After finishing his studies, he joined the military. He became a part of the U.S. Air Force, marking the beginning of his journey to becoming an astronaut. This stage of his life combined his academic knowledge with real-world military experience, paving the way for the historic steps he would soon take on the moon. He was promoted to second lieutenant and served as a fighter pilot during the Korean War. During this time, he flew more than 60 combat missions, earning the Distinguished Flying Cross for his bravery and skill in battle. His experiences in Korea sharpened his abilities as a pilot and molded him into a strong and capable leader. The tough training and challenges of aerial combat didn't just improve his flying skills. They also prepared him for high-pressure situations, which were crucial for space exploration. His background in the Air Force played a big part in developing his technical and problem-solving skills, both of which were directly useful in his later career as an astronaut. His time in the military showed he was ready to take on new challenges, whether in the skies or in the vast unknown of space. His experience as a fighter pilot sparked his passion for pushing the limits of what humans could achieve, making him a great fit for NASA's astronaut program. Next up, a bold journey begins at Kennedy Space Center, the silent heroes of Apollo 11. On July 16, 1969, people all over the world watched as Apollo 11 got ready for launch at Kennedy Space Center in Florida. This historic mission, led by NASA, was the result of years of scientific research and preparation. Along with Neil Armstrong and Michael Collins, he made up the three-member team. Armstrong was the commander, Collins piloted the command module, and he was in charge of piloting the lunar module, known as Eagle.
Years ago this week, the world watched as the Apollo 11 crew lifted off and then landed on the moon a few days later.
His role was key, especially after the Eagle separated from the command module. He managed the lunar landing and the moonwalks, also called extravehicular activities, EVAs. His careful preparation and deep understanding of the lunar module were crucial to the mission's success. Even during the most stressful moments of the mission, his calmness and technical skills stood out. But this wasn't the toughest part. On July 20th, 1969, the world held its breath as the Eagle landed in the Sea of Tranquility. Armstrong's famous words, "That's one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind," echoed around the globe as he became the first human to step on the moon. Shortly after, he joined him, becoming the second person to walk on the lunar surface. While they were on the moon, he and Armstrong gathered samples, conducted experiments, and took photos, greatly increasing our knowledge of the lunar environment. The Apollo 11 mission remains one of the greatest achievements in human history, marking the first time we set foot on another world. But this event was more than just a milestone in space exploration. It was a defining moment in human achievement. The Apollo 11 mission was a great example of what science and technology could achieve. It showed that countries could work together, even when tensions were high during the Cold War. This mission was a big win for NASA, proving that humans could overcome challenges that seemed impossible. He was a key figure in this mission. His role in managing the lunar module and handling difficult tasks on the moon demonstrated the skills of the astronauts and the quality of their equipment. This mission also highlighted the advanced design of the spacecraft and the effective strategies developed during the fierce competition of the space race. His work in collecting samples and using scientific tools gave scientists valuable information for future lunar missions. The mission had a huge impact on people worldwide, sparking interest and excitement about space. It inspired a new generation of scientists, engineers, and people in general. The success of the mission was celebrated around the world as a proof of human creativity and the spirit of adventure. When the astronauts returned to Earth, the response was incredibly positive, and they were welcomed as heroes. The mission received extensive media coverage, and the astronauts were honored with parades, interviews, and awards. He, in particular, became very famous as one of the first people to walk on the moon. But the excitement didn't end there. When they got back, the astronauts were kept busy with public appearances. They attended a special dinner at the White House hosted by President Richard Nixon. While the recognition was exciting for him, it also brought a lot of pressure. He felt both happiness and relief that their mission had successfully pushed the boundaries of human knowledge and ability in space exploration. The astronauts faced the challenge of normal life after the moon, beyond the moonlight. Buzz Aldrin had become a well-known figure, but getting back to normal life on Earth and meeting everyone's expectations was not easy. The constant attention from reporters and the public was both fascinating and overwhelming for him. After the mission, he often talked about how proud and thankful he was for what he had achieved, knowing how much hard work and dedication it took to complete such an important journey. In interviews, he frequently described his moonwalk, explaining how it brought people together. He stressed that the mission showed what human intelligence could achieve and proved that exploring space was possible. He also shared how the mission's importance made him feel and how looking back at Earth from the moon made him realize how connected all people are.
We can visit other people with their habitation. We can keep track if there's something very important to be developed from the moon.
But this wasn't the only challenge he faced. On August 25th, 2024, a 94-year-old Aldrin made a shocking announcement that echoed around the globe. At a press conference where everyone was eager to hear what he had to say, he confirmed some long-standing rumors. While only a few people thought there could be more to the Apollo 11 mission than they had been told, his revelation suggested there might be. According to him, during their famous moon landing, he and Neil Armstrong came across several strange occurrences. At first, they thought these were just issues with their equipment, but soon they realized these were unknown phenomena that needed more investigation. This statement hinted that there were parts of the mission that NASA had not officially recognized or shared before. Headlines like "Moon Mission Revealed" and Buzz Aldrin's surprising lunar facts were all over the news. Many people cheered these announcements, believing they marked a big change in how we think about outer space. His fans admired his courage for sharing these secrets, especially at his age. Others questioned whether these new details were true, with some discussions ranging from the idea of alien life to the possibility of it all being a clever marketing ploy. Amidst all the excitement and debate, one thing was clear. He had changed how we think about space exploration. Whether people believed his new revelations or not, they had certainly made many reconsider what might really be out there beyond our planet. Hearing what he said about the Apollo 11 mission was surprising. The moon landing in 1969 was seen as one of humanity's greatest accomplishments, the highlight of the space race. But his recent statements added a new layer, suggesting that the Apollo missions and the history of space exploration could be much more complicated than we had always thought. Until now, the story had been straightforward, a celebration of technology and human spirit, with no room for anything unexpected. But his comments about seeing strange things during the mission have made people think there might be some unknown or hidden aspects of space that we still don't understand. But this wasn't the most surprising part. If these claims are true, they could change how we view past space missions and even make us rethink what we know about space from organizations like NASA. Back on Earth, rumors about the moon landing stir up curiosity. Apollo 11's hidden narratives. The ongoing discussions about the Apollo 11 mission suggest there might be more to the story than we know. Many astronauts have reported seeing unidentified flying objects, UFOs, or experiencing strange events during their space travels. But most experts and space agencies brushed these claims off as made-up stories or exaggerations. Some astronauts have hinted that they saw UFOs, but their comments were often vague. While many of these sightings were explained as space junk or problems with the equipment, a few people believed they hinted at something more significant.
Extraordinary responsibility that was on our shoulders to carry out the mission correctly.
There have been rumors and theories that NASA might be hiding evidence of aliens or advanced technology. Some believe that he and Neil Armstrong saw something unusual while they were on the moon. But the public and the media often dismissed these claims as just wild stories or speculation. However, when he later confirmed some of these rumors, it added a layer of mystery and got people talking again, both in the public and academic worlds. When he, now 94 years old, decided to share this information, it made people curious about why he chose to speak up now. For decades, he and his fellow astronauts focused on the achievements and scientific discoveries of their missions, often ignoring or dismissing anything that couldn't be explained. He might have had several personal reasons for sharing this information at this point in his life. Maybe he wanted to clear up any doubts about his legacy while he still could. Or perhaps he felt it was his duty to share more of his experiences from such a historically important time, as he reflected in his autobiography. But this wasn't the only reason. Professionally, by admitting that certain events had been kept under wraps, he could be trying to spark new conversations in the scientific community. His revelations might encourage scientists to take a fresh look at past space missions and inspire new research into space and the possibility of life on other planets. His recent statements about his experiences during the Apollo 11 mission might change how we view the story of space exploration. While the Apollo missions are celebrated for their groundbreaking contributions to technology and science, and for inspiring a spirit of exploration, his comments suggest there could be another layer to the story. This new angle might push historians and scientists to rethink what they know about the Apollo missions and could lead to new investigations and studies. Data stored away in archives might have been overlooked or even kept hidden on purpose. Looking at this data again could help us better appreciate the achievements of various space missions, while also recognizing that some information was kept from the public eye. This new look at the data might lead to discussions about government secrecy and what really happens in space. We might start digging deeper into what astronauts have seen and what's still left to discover. The discoveries from him could shape the current and future strategies and policies of NASA and other space organizations. Even though NASA usually shares information about space missions openly, this particular finding might lead them to reconsider how they handle sensitive data. The demand for open information grows, shaping future space missions. Revelations from space. NASA could find itself pressured to reveal more about strange events reported during space missions. This could lead to changes in their policies on what information is kept secret. Such changes could make their operations more transparent and provide more insights into the experiences and challenges faced by astronauts. It might also spark renewed interest and funding in space exploration.
Hurtling towards the Earth is something real-life scientists are preparing for at NASA. They're refining the plan because in a few short years, a space rock could come quite close.
Investing in the study of unknown phenomena in space could drive progress in space technology and lead to new missions aimed at solving more mysteries. Since Aldrin's confirmation, public interest has grown, and NASA might use this excitement to secure funding for future projects and engage more people. The growing fascination with space and the possibility of extraterrestrial life could increase support for space missions. But that's not the end of the story. Sharing knowledge and resources internationally to investigate his claims could also strengthen global teamwork in space exploration. New methods and technologies developed to identify and study these puzzling phenomena could help us learn more about space and what lies beyond. Space missions are getting more complicated as we look toward the future. When he confirmed his recent findings, it changed how we think about exploring space and the politics surrounding it. His impact goes far beyond just being the second person to walk on the moon. Even after the famous Apollo 11 mission, he kept making a big difference in the field of space exploration. He didn't wait for new things to happen. Instead, he actively worked to shape the future of space travel. He spoke up a lot about the importance of continuing space exploration, especially manned missions to places like Mars and beyond. He wrote many books to share his excitement and knowledge and worked as a consultant and advisor on several space projects. His efforts were key in shaping today's space missions. Recently, some new information came out about the Apollo 11 mission that adds another interesting chapter to his story. He admitted that some things during the mission couldn't be explained, which gives a fresh and exciting twist to his tale. This new information might make people see him not just as an astronaut, but also as a pioneer eager to learn more about the universe. But this wasn't the most surprising part. His openness about these unexplained events could reignite public interest in space exploration. People are naturally curious about things they don't fully understand, and his revelations about strange happenings on the moon might encourage more people and companies to get involved in space exploration. This could lead to more money being invested in space research and exploration. We could also see more scientific studies aimed at understanding the strange incidents he mentioned, with researchers going back to old data or uncovering new information to help us learn more about space. But the story doesn't end there. This new curiosity could also inspire movies, books, and stories that capture people's imaginations and bring them closer to the idea of space exploration. These cultural expressions wouldn't just be fun, they would also teach people, keeping the fascination with space alive. With his recent admissions adding depth to his legacy, the drive for new adventures beyond Earth will continue to grow, with more people and organizations looking to explore the vast unknowns of space. What do you think are the risks of revealing unexplained lunar events? Like, comment, and subscribe to join the discussion and explore more mysteries of space.